It's a hell of a thing, killing a man. You take away all he's got, and all he's ever gonna have.
Lemon peels can flavor nasty water. That doesn't do away with the disease. In the church, going people so good beneath the steeple, so sorry for their deeds. You're not responsible for the demons in your head. Get on your knees, put up your hands and say, I'm sorry for my mind. I'm sorry for my mind. I'm so sorry for killing you. And apologies make lousy parachutes.
All right, cool. Let's get started. If you notice, I don't look like I normally do. That is because, well, I did a thing.
Oh shit!
Give me 2 seconds. I just gotta, get set up here real quick. Hold on.
You joined the Black Panthers? Oh my God, you did!
So yeah, I did a thing.
Jesus
Look,
Christ!
it's all angry and
Hey, are you? You look like either a female UFC fighter or a little white girl on Holiday in the Caribbean.
So at work, I've had a bunch of people who have been telling me, "Yo, your hair's so long, you should get braids." And,
Those people. Oh my God, who are those people?
one of my friends at work, Dave, fucking love you. He gets his done all the time. So he was like, "Yo, come to my lady. She's great. You'll be in and out for like, a half hour, 45 minutes." And, no problem at all. So Thursday, I was like, "Yo, can you set it up for this weekend?" And he was like, "Yeah, let me text her, figure it out." And we just spent the day. I went to there to get the braids. I went to his barber to get, touched up and stuff. And then we went to go get Puerto Rican food at El Montevivi, or Vivo. I think it's Montevivi.
No, nobody cares.
I don't remember. But it was, oh my God, it was like a full day. So at work we have something called Puerto Rican Day, which is when Dave goes to that Montevivi and gets Puerto Rican food for everybody. And I was like, yo, fuck Puerto Rican Day, just getting food. I was like, you got to do the whole experience. You got to get the hair, you got to get the trim, and then you get the food. So yeah, it was a blast. It was a great time, and I love it.
I'm not
cool.
a big cultural appropriation guy, but you're appropriating something there.
Yeah, I'm appropriating my love for doing different shit.
Just don't get in a fight. Somebody's gonna snatch that weave.
It's real. It's they didn't weave anything in. It's all legit. But yeah, it was a great time. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna hurt." It didn't hurt. The only thing I'm not used to is like how tight it is.
Well,
it's
yeah, no shit.
But yeah, I love it. I love it. It's awesome.
I'd do it with mine, but I only have enough hair to have like one braid going down the middle.
Oh, that would be cool.
So, yeah,
I
thought the elephant in the room was going to be my lack of a beard.
I got you. Beat you, bitch.
Yeah, I hit that point with my beard. Whereas anybody who has a beard knows you hit that point where it's a struggle to keep it because you just get irritated with it. And it's not looking right and it's not trimming right. And
right.
Unless of course you have the money to go get freaking cornrows and have your
it wasn't
beard
really that
professionally
expensive. The whole thing cost me I think $130, hair and beard.
I don't have that.
I've never pampered myself like that before, so it was cool to like. I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah, we're gonna start shilling our shitty words for money pretty soon. That's how bad off I am.
Well, on that note,
it looks interesting.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was fun.
The problem with both of us is
Oh yeah.
we've got merch, and now
We have
neither one
merch.
of us looks like our merch.
Not. There we go.
There you
Merch.
go.
Not for sale yet, but we're working on it.
We're working on it. And my beard is coming back. I need a little while without it. May not come
Yeah,
back
of
till
course.
fall
We're
or
gonna
winter.
we're
but,
gonna switch it up. Obviously.
Yeah.
On that note, my name is Christian.
My name is Chris.
I am the son.
I'm the father.
And this is Two Good Christians.
Still.
Still, yep.
With
we're
or without a beard.
We're still here.
With or without foofy hair.
All right.
So
yeah.
Really quick, I want to do a couple of callbacks. So you were actually there the other day. We went to your sister's. He's my daughter's really, really annoyingly smart.
Stupidly
smart. And she's in a bunch of honor societies in college. And she's got inducted to another one on Wednesday.
It's at the point now where it's like, oh, come on. Can you,
Yeah, it's just like going to a dance recital at this
right.
point.
Like, we know this is going to happen. Do we have to go?
Anyway, super proud of you, Books. I can't say her name because she wants to get paid every time we name drop Linnea. Oh, shit, there's another one.
Fuck.
So, but in any case, I'm looking around the room at this college, and I found more people who should be put to death. Who the death penalty should apply to. Any electrician who installs outlets upside down. You know the three-pronged
Yes.
outlets?
Oh,
that hole
yes.
does not go on top.
Right.
The ground, it does not go on top. That
That's-
is upside down, you idiots. Have these people never been in a house before?
That's what you get paid to do. Put them the right fucking way.
And they're installing them upside down.
Right. So when I bought my house, they weren't upside down, but the wiring was upside down. So they were like, it was weird. So we had Abby's uncle come in and like test it out. And he's like, yeah, they wired all these upside down. And he's like, that's not safe. So he had to go through and make sure all of them were fucking turned, like rewire and turn them. Yeah, like that's what you get fucking paid to do.
Yeah, you had one job. Put the outlets in right side up. You dummy.
Well, I have one.
Oh, really quick though, let me qualify that.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
If you have an electrician out there who can explain why they would be done that way, please, and don't say that's the way they go. It's not. It's
Right.
not.
Right.
There's no argument there. Just if there's a reason to put them upside down, please enlighten us. I'm willing to listen.
I don't. To be honest, I'm not an electrician, but I don't think there is any reason.
Yeah, I'm not willing to change my opinion, but I'm willing to listen.
Right. I'll listen. I'll listen. Oh shit! I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, my people to be put to death. People who don't look before crossing crosswalks.
Yeah, just hit them.
They just they fucking walk out. Like, didn't you learn as a child? Hey, look both ways before you cross the street. It's not my job to watch for a pedestrian. I mean, it is because I'm driving a big car.
Yeah, actually, it is. It's
actually, that's the one thing we have to do as a driver is pay attention. But if you're not going to look and be like people make mistakes, you know, like if you step out looking both ways, you're like, oh shit, a car's coming. I think I deserve to run you over if you don't look.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, like I understand pedestrians have the right of way. That's cool. But it's also your responsibility to fucking check. Because you should not rely on the person in the car. Because the person in the car may be having a bad day. May not, you know, they may just want to run somebody over.
Yeah, fuck that little elementary kid on his way to school because he missed the bus running across the street.
That's bad parenting. That's bad parenting. You should run that kid over and the parent.
That's extreme. I mean, I'm all on board, but it's extreme. It's what we do.
Yeah.
So I've actually got a throwback, if you don't mind, to our cryptids episode. So we were talking about snakes. I don't know if you recall. I certainly recall because now I can't get them out of my head or my dreams. My friend Tom, shout out to Tom at work. He's a listener.
Shout out to Tom. Hi, Tom.
He also hates snakes, and he's got actually probably a better reason than I do. He told me a story about, I think it was a friend of his, who had a snake, loved the snake. Snake was awesome. Snake used to just kind of hang out and fall asleep. Typically, when snakes sleep, they coil themselves up, coil themselves up in a little ball, and and they chill. This snake was sleeping dead straight like a pencil. Yeah. So I guess it happened a couple times, and I think he said it was a woman. I think she goes to the vet, and she's like, Doc, she goes, I don't understand this. You know, most snakes kind of chill, and, he always used to, but now he's sleeping straight out, extended like a pencil. My guess is it was like a boa or, the kind of people typically have in their houses. And doctor, without even blinking, looks her dead in the eye and says, you have to destroy that snake. And she says, I'm not going to destroy the snake. She goes, I love my snake. Snake's my pet. It's like,
not kill. Not kill.
Destroy. Destroy. Set fire to it internally.
Right.
Chop off its head. Bury it in two separate places.
You have to obliterate that snake. Call in a Death Star strike.
Yeah. She's like, you wouldn't kill your dog just because he's sleeping funny. He goes, no, because you don't understand. He goes, the snake is not sleeping funny. He's sizing you up. He's seeing if you will fit inside of him when he eats you. He's watching you lay down, and he's laying himself down and stretching himself out to see if you will fit in his belly.
Fucking destroy that snake.
All snakes.
Oh,
all snakes. I'm getting the freaking douche chills right now.
I just got goosebumps. Ugh.
Yeah, no thank you.
That's fucking... He's sizing you up. Fuck, I'll knock that fucking snake out if it tries to eat me.
Okay, well, yeah. You sleep with one eye open.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Well, on a better note, we are...
What a horrible story.
That's a horrible story. Fuck that snake.
Oh, it's a great story, but what a horrible...
That's a great story, but that's why you should not own snakes. So, we are now in spring. We are in springtime, finally. It's finally getting warmer. But this is a special time of year. It's a fun time of year. You know, things are growing. We have the nice smells of flowers and stuff that are coming in. We get some little drizzle days. When we get that, what is it, petrichor, where after it rains, there's like that smell. I love it.
Petrichor?
Yeah, I think that's the name of it.
It's got a name. I didn't know that.
Yeah, petrichor, something like that. Yeah, there's a name for the smell after it rains. There is one smell in particular, though, that I think deserves a little bit of a shout-out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you this video because it kind of sums it up a little bit. Where are we here? All right. Let me start it over. So, yeah, please enjoy this new smell.
It's springtime, you know what that means. Everything smells like gum trees. The weather gets warmer by a couple degrees. Then everything smells like gum trees. You can try to hide, you can try to run. If you go outside, it's gonna smell like You can hit the park, try to have some fun. Odds are the park's gonna smell like
Everything smells like gum trees.
That is fantastic.
Shout out to Tom McGovern27 on TikTok. Go give him a like and follow. Watch that thing 1,000 times. It's hysterical. I don't know this guy personally, but I saw this and I was like, this is absolutely perfect.
That's so good. Every spring, your mom and I'll smell that. And I don't know how, like literally, I didn't know anybody else even knew about that until you showed me that.
It's like, one of those things that now that you know, you're not going to be able to unsmell it.
No, of course not. Of course not. And it's like, with your mom, I'm like, she's like, that smells like cum. I'm like, how do you know what cum smells like, you whore? You should be driving down the highway and all of a sudden you're like, honey, that's not me. I thought it was you. Did I leave that there?
Right.
Close up. So that's funny. So I got one more topic to go over before we hit our topic for today.
Of course.
So I'm an avid Goodwiller. One of the things I like to get at Goodwill is Yetis. So like Yeti tumblers, Yeti.
Just make sure you wash them.
Cups,
first,
mugs. Oh yeah, I wash the shit out of them.
Because there could possibly be real shit in them.
Yeah, probably. We bought. I've gotten actually a bunch of new ones because they'll come with, printing on them. Like, so people get them as giveaways.
Yeah.
And I've got a bunch that I'm gonna just strip and kind of repaint myself.
Which is great. Could you imagine seeing one of our Two Good Christians mugs at a Goodwill?
No, fuck that. I'd be so pissed, especially because I only gave them to you and me. Hey, Christian, I got us some merch, and you bring it right to Goodwill.
We should buy extra ones and just stick them in every Goodwill we go to. Talk about product placement.
Don't even try to pawn them. We just give them away. So I found a bunch of Yetis. You get them. I've gotten them for like $2-3. And like I said, some of them brand new, which is pretty cool. And I found a Yeti today at Goodwill. Hold on one sec.
Oh God. Oh, what's he gonna do? Oh no, this is my attempt at clearing the dead space.
And it's actually probably sorry about that. It's actually probably the coolest Yeti I found yet.
All right.
At a Goodwill or anywhere else or new. I think it's a one of a kind. So it could be worth money, but
Oh my! It's an actual. You... Oh my god!
how great is this thing?
Where did you find that?
Goodwill.
What the fuck?
Like, for
Yeah,
real.
You said that. Fuck.
So the only reason, so Toby, who is usually a part of the show, he's actually not in here today. He's being a little rambunctious, but loves stuffed animals, and he'll have them for weeks before he finally tears them apart. And we got to take them away from him, but he'll sleep with them. He kind of loves them, and so I was digging through those. I got him a little tiger, and then I saw this friggin' thing sitting there.
Oh my god! You and your fucking Goodwill finds. Oh my god!
And I'm like, so I saw the Yeti and I got it for him, and the lady was ringing it out. I'm like, hold on, that thing's got a gaping anus, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a puppet.
Yeah, for those of you who are just listening, my dad has found a Yeti puppet, and
Not
go
the
check
mug.
it out. Not
An
the
actual
mug, not the mug
Yeti.
at all. An actual Yeti. That is so fucking awesome.
So maybe we'll try to get him a voice, and he'll
And
make
a
a couple
name.
of appearances and a name. Freddie the Yeti.
Freddie the Yeti. That might stick.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Oh, that is so fucking great. Hold on.
Cum, trees, and Freddie the Yeti all in one episode.
Oh, that's so great. All right, but one more thing before we actually get into our content. A little update on the serial killer of Connecticut. It is, in fact, not a serial killer, but a 68-year-old man. So this is the remains that were found in Groton, which still leaves, what did we say, eight set of remains unaccounted for. We'll have to dig a little deeper, but my dad just mentioned
Does not
this
rule
to
out
me.
a serial killer.
Right. My dad mentioned this to me this morning, so I figured we'd check it out. This is from Channel 3 News. It says, after a 6-week-long investigation, Groton police have made an arrest in a case that had rumors of a serial killer swirling on social media. Groton police identified the victim found near the entrance of the Colonel Ledyard Cemetery as 58-year-old Suzanne Wormser. Wormser? Yeah, Wormser. The suspect was identified as 68-year-old Donald Koffel. Police say the two were living together. Neighbors said they knew there was an issue when they hadn't seen Wormser for a while. So he told police that he vacated the apartment already and was no longer here, but I knew something was wrong because she was a widow and wasn't going anywhere. She was part of the community, and it didn't seem like something she'd do, a neighbor, Stephanie Ocean, said. Police say after interviewing Koffel for a third time, he finally confessed. Chief Burton says they believe the home is where the murder took place before Koffel tried to get rid of Wormser's body. Quote, the suspect was interviewed a third time and at that time confessed to the murder, providing details that matched the scene documentation as well as evidence collected by the investigation, Chief Burton says. Police have not said how Wormser was murdered or what led to the crime. So there's one set of remains accounted for. Koffel has been arrested and is being held on $1 million bond. He is facing charges of murder, tampering with evidence, and improper disposal of a body. He will be arraigned on Monday.
Arranged? Sorry, I wasn't going to let that one go.
Yeah, arraigned.
Arraigned.
I don't know how to read. On Monday, this was posted April 25th, so 2 days ago. So yeah, Monday, he will be arraigned.
My guess is she just didn't listen.
Well, they were living together, so were they like boyfriend, girlfriend? Was he like just a friend because she needed company? She was, like it said, she was a widow. So, I don't know. Or he planned to kill her all along and, was just waiting for that time. Guy's also 68 years old. She was 58. She had a little bit more to go, but.
A little? Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, 58. You got like 20, 30 years.
There.
30 if you're lucky.
Jesus. It's a scary thought. All right.
Yeah,
Different subject. Holy hell.
Yeah, well, one person was found. That still leaves like I said, 8 remains. So we'll keep
keep
checking
on
this
keeping
out.
on. I wonder now. I still want to know. They said it like a 6-week investigation. I want to know if they were from the start investigating those remains separately, or if
Well, I mean,
they're
if you
part
watch
of a wider I guess my question I'd like to ask somebody in charge is finding these bodies related in any way, shape, or form?
Well, they probably look at them individually, as we know from like shows and stuff. Police departments don't necessarily communicate. That's why trying to find a serial killer is so freaking hard, because it takes a lot to for them to like give each other information.
Yeah.
So they probably look at them separately, and if they realize there's a pattern, there's like, hey, we have this. I know you have a murder. What do you got? Do we think these are linked? So, honestly, this doesn't
Lots
look
of
like
egos.
it'd be linked to anything. It was just one guy, one woman. He was probably tired of her, and being sad because her previous husband died, I guess, and he was like, there. Instead of leaving, he killed her.
You like him so much, go be with him.
Oh God. Jesus.
No, that's horrible. That's horrible. Fuck this guy too.
Yep.
He's as bad as electricians who install outlets upside down.
Just as bad.
Just as bad.
Jesus. All right. Let me get my sweatshirt off. I'm toasty.
Every time he does this, I wonder if he's like going to surprise me with what he's wearing underneath it. Kid never just does it. Oh, okay, so we get that now. Kid never just does anything. He just he unveils. It's crazy.
What?
I was just talking shit about you.
No.
I said you never just. I said you always make me nervous when like I gotta take my hoodie off, or because I don't know if you're trying to like show me something that's going on underneath. Like this is a cool shirt. I'm like, you never just do anything. You always have to unveil.
No, I've been cold, and now I'm warm because we're talking, having fun, laughing.
Yeah. Bro, if laughing is an aerobic exercise, you need to get out more. Maybe take a walk every once in a while. Maybe take a walk through the cum trees.
The one more reason not to go outside is it smells like cum.
Can you imagine how like you're walking through the cum tree forest? It's bad enough it smells like it, but all of a sudden it starts like shooting sap at you.
Imagine sending your kid out and they come back in like, Mama, I don't want to go back outside. Why? It smells like your bedroom. Because in that story, Timmy's mom's a whore. All right.
I apologize in advance if your name's Timmy. or even worse, if you have a son named Timmy.
Go for breeze your room right now. Well,
Go
note,
for a breeze your pants.
on that note, let's get into this week's topic. We've been
All right.
talking shit for too long.
Yeah, you're gonna make me work now.
Yeah, it's work time, unfortunately.
All right. So today, those of you who know me know. Those of you who don't, do not. None of you care.
That's usually
But
how it works.
my favorite place on planet Earth is the French Quarter of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Correct.
I go there every year with my wife. We have a great time. It's awesome. I love that place. Such a great history, such a horrible history in some cases. By great, I mean the scope of the history. Architecture is amazing. The city's amazing. I love it down there. So today's story borrows from my favorite place in the world. It is about the Gardette-LePretre House, also known as the House of the Turk or the Sultan's House.
Cool.
Starts out with a little story and a little paragraph I'll start with, and then we'll get into it.
All right.
So, a fine day for a walk, he thought as he gazed upward at the blue sky, a far cry from the rain that had fallen all day yesterday and through the night. In fact, it had been so wet that he almost didn't notice that he had stepped in a puddle and soaked his foot. Looking down, he noticed the odd color of the water that had pooled in the cracks and crevices of the stone road. Red. Such a strange color for water, he thought, as his eyes traced the red liquid from the puddles, up the steps, and to the doorway of 716 Dauphine Street. So,
All right.
as a quick aside, these days stepping in water is probably worse than stepping in blood down there. There's something in the streets every morning that my wife and I have dubbed street juice.
Come.
I'm sure. I'm
Fuck
sure.
cum trees, they got
among
cum
other
bottles.
things. I don't think I would want to fuck a cum tree. That's too much. I heard they get turned on way too easy.
Jesus.
Maybe in the off season. But yeah, street juice is it's a mix of alcohol, vomit, probably urine and jizz and whatever else they scrape off the sidewalks into the gutters.
Yep.
Down in New Orleans, after people are done partying every night. It smells gross. It looks gross, and I have stepped into it with sandals on.
Oh.
Yeah. So
That's an immediate
great.
cut my fucking foot off.
yeah, and actually, there's some that have like slate sidewalks. There's some spots that have slate sidewalks. They don't always lay flat. So one time, your mom stepped on one, and it shot the juice into my leg, like
All
up
right.
my leg.
Next,
yeah, it's gross.
Continue.
That shit's
Next
gross.
topic.
So next topic. Get out of New Orleans. Cancel this subject.
Yeah, this episode's over.
So the doorway of 716 Dauphine Street, resting 2 blocks north of Bourbon Street. Well, I turned into Peter Brady there. 2 blocks. Resting 2 blocks north of Bourbon Street. Wow. On the corner of Dauphine and Orleans Streets in the New Orleans French Quarter sits the Gardette-LePretre House. It's a 3.5-story house with a half basement, which is super rare for the South. It gets so wet down there, they don't even bury the bodies because they can't dig.
Right.
But this has half a basement. Somehow they squeezed it in, and cast iron filigree balconies. It is the most photographed building in the French Quarter.
Cool. I did a little bit of research too. After you said the topic, this house is 7,441 square feet long, or square feet big, long, wide, whatever.
In size.
Yeah, which is fucking huge.
It's a big house.
Funny enough, the LePretre installed the cast iron balconies in 1850.
Yes,
So-
they weren't part of the original.
Right, they weren't part of the original house. They were done after a bunch of, buying and selling went back and forth.
Yep. Yeah, I actually have several pictures of this house that I've taken myself. It's an awesome house. I'll pull up a picture later on.
Yeah.
Kind of show you guys. Construction on the house began in 1835 for Joseph Coulon Gardette. He was a dentist who was looking to make his fortune in the French Quarter, and actually did. And he wanted a house that would kind of mirror the success that he was having as a dentist.
Right.
He recruited local architect Frederick Roy to design it. The house was completed in 1836, and he lived there until 1839, when he sold the property for an astounding $20,049. That seems like such a weird number. It's like, will you take $20,000? It's like, I won't take less than $20,049.
Yeah.
Like over $49, they were going to walk away.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a huge amount at the time.
Well, let me check. Let's take a
Yep.
take a pause for a second. How much was it? 20,000.
20,049, 20049.
20049. In what year was that? you said?
1839.
1839. Oh, it won't even give me that far back.
No,
Oh,
money
my
wasn't real
goodness.
back then.
So we'll go 1913 in March of 2025.
What do you have, a dollar converter?
That's about $647,641.
So that's actually cheap in respect for a
Well, that's-
7,000 square foot house. I mean, they've got
That's in 1913. It won't let me go to 1836.
yeah, they got 1-bedroom condos going down there for $1 million,
Right.
which is crazy.
So let's assume it was probably about $800 to $1 million, if not more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
100 years prior to 1930.
That's crazy. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, because now we're talking about back then, not now. So yeah, I see
Right.
where you're going with that. So yeah, he sold it to Jean-Baptiste LePretre, a local merchant and plantation owner.
Yeah. Actually, the first house, it was a cottage house that was originally built in 1780. This was as told by a 1979 New Orleans newspaper article in the Times-Picayune. The original building was a small brick and wooden cottage owned by a free person of color, Victoire Durlet. Probably butchering these French names, but we're trying our
We are
best.
not French.
No. Durlet had lived there peacefully until 1811 when she sold it to Francois Darby. She resided in the home until her death in 1816. The little lonely cottage stood in its comfy lot until 1835 when it was torn down. This is when Gardette started construction of the gargantuan building it is today. And we actually, if I can get this up quick, we have some blueprints of the house for everyone to to take a look at. We'll see if I can get them on the screen here quick.
It's a beautiful house. I mean, it's really an amazing looking house. I'll actually get a picture ready real quick so I can pull that up next.
Oh, I bet. Dead Space.
Isn't that a video game?
It is. It's a great video game. One of my favorites, actually.
Boo. I know I'm going to get roped into talking video games at some point on this podcast, and I'm not a video game guy.
Yes. I actually have an episode queued up by one of my friends at work, Niels. Shout out to Niels. I want to talk about video games and how the prices now are absolutely crazy, and it's a wild time for video games. Nintendo's really screwing the pooch. So yeah, let's take
Back
a
to
look
the
at
blueprints.
this mansion quick.
And again, we're aware that some of you guys are listening to this, and I apologize, but we're also a visual medium on the other end.
Yes.
So feel free to check us out on YouTube, and actually get the videos on Spotify as well.
Good plug. Very good plug. So yeah, I mean this building's absolutely ginormous. So this top one's the first floor. I mean, in 1835, this is huge.
Yeah, it's a big house.
Well, that's the ground floor. Then we have third floor, second floor. This is just oddly big for the time. So that's what it looks like from the outside. Massive.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So yeah, if you want here, I'll see. Yeah,
from the side. But yeah, just so you guys have kind of a reference of what we're talking about here.
So here is a shot of the actual house, which is pretty amazing.
That's pretty.
It's a great looking house. It's really cool. It's like you can't walk by and not try to get a picture of it, especially on that corner. That's probably the most common angle for it too, is right on that corner.
Is that one you took, or is that from?
No.
Okay.
I've got to go through, racks and racks of digital photos to find to find my normal stuff. Mom probably actually has a better picture than I do. She kind of does the architecture pictures down there more than I do.
All right.
But I know I've got a very cool picture of this house, which I'll try to dig up and eventually put on Facebook or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a great looking house.
It's almost like it's made to stand out.
Right. Almost like it's made to stand up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, so where did we leave off? We left off with he sold it to LePretre for an exorbitant amount of money.
Yep.
Good for him. Kudos to him. When the Civil War hit in the 1860s, he had purchased it in 1839. When the Civil War hit in the 1860s, LePretre found himself in financial hardship, and he decided that he should lease the property on Dauphine Street. And him and his family spent most of their time on the plantation. I think you looked this up. I don't remember what the plantation name was.
Yeah, it's Plaquemines Parish. If you actually look at a map, it's just southeast of New Orleans. It's a huge section. I don't know if they owned the whole thing or if they just owned a section of it. It's a very, very big section. But if you look on the map, it's actually the little tail that sticks out at the bottom of Louisiana. That's Plaquemines Parish.
All right. Cool. So yeah, his family pretty much stayed there most of the time anyway. They kind of use this as a luxury fun house. So they figured, let's get some of our money back and rent this place out. So they were approached by the brother of a Turkish sultan, which they thought would be, cool. That's like when you get somebody trying to rent your house or Airbnb your house, and they show up looking like Christian does. And you're like, no. But then the guy shows up, and he's part of a well-to-do family. You say, sure. But as you're probably going to find out, it would have been better off Airbnb-ing the house to Christian.
Yes, correct.
So he agreed to lease it to the man. One night soon after that, a ship arrived carrying the new tenant. First off the boat came the women dressed in the finest of clothes. After them were the guards dressed in their dark military uniforms, a stark contrast to the colorful fashions of the Sultan's harem. I want a harem.
Yeah, a harem would be nice.
Yeah.
What's a harem? Because I keep hearing hair lip, and it's and it doesn't. I don't want a hair lip person. I mean, not that people with hair lips are bad, but they look all like.
It's when she doesn't shave, and and you give her oral, and I end up with a hair in my throat.
Oh my God. Good night. I quit this fucking podcast. Goodbye. Bye.
I wish we had planned that joke.
Oh my God. No, because if we planned it, it would not have been as funny. Oh, that hurt my soul. Oh.
It's his kept women.
Hair in my throat. Gross.
So after the military men came the brother of the Sultan, followed closely by the ornate furniture and decorations bound for the home. He had everything. He had custom-made couches and paintings and tapestries, and they paraded all this shit through the French Quarter, down through Jackson. I know you haven't been there, but I can kind of picture like this whole thing happening because I know the area pretty well. Through Jackson Square, down past St. Louis Cathedral, and down to the house on the corner of Dauphine and Orleans.
All right. And for those of you who don't know what a sultan is, because I was unsure, a sultan is the ruler of a Muslim country, especially of the former Ottoman Empire. So it's a Middle Eastern king or prince or someone of royal power,
of good stature.
Yes.
Yeah. Over the next few weeks, the locals of the quarter began to grow familiar with the sounds of music and laughter, along with the smell of opium and quite possibly gum trees, emanating from the closed doors of the house. Despite these wild parties, which seemingly were always, house was always occupied, always full, no locals were ever allowed inside. Even when they delivered stuff, they would leave stuff like on the front steps.
Okay.
And later on that night, they would disappear, and there would be gold coins as payment the next day on that
At least
front
they're getting
step.
paid.
And so,
Jeez.
yep. But yeah, it's kind of like Wonka's factory. Yeah. Nobody ever goes in. Nobody ever comes out.
Nobody ever comes out.
So, unbeknownst to LePretre or any of the other locals, the brother of the Sultan was a fraud. He was a fugitive from Turkey. Yeah. What? He was a fugitive from Turkey where he had stolen the harem, the guards, and the wealth from the Sultan.
Ooh,
and he was in
bad
New
boy.
Orleans as a fugitive, hiding out from his brother.
Makes sense.
So, shortly after, he made himself known and people kind of got comfortable with him being there, another ship arrived in the darkness.
Ooh.
The middle of the night at the
So,
water.
What I read is it was a really, really bad storm. Everything I've read said this. It was like a terribly, terribly dark and stormy night. I mean, you've been to New Orleans. We've all seen, clips of Katrina. A lot of us were alive during Katrina. Some of the storms, it gets super, super, super bad. Visibility is near poor. You can't even go outside, because there's so much rain. It comes down so heavy and so powerful. So most of the residents that night that the ship arrived were like hunkered down, staying inside, trying to brave the storm. I mean, I can imagine back then it was maybe a little bit more treacherous to step outside. You didn't really have lights. There weren't any flashlights. There wasn't. I don't think a lot of electricity. If there was, there might have been something in the Sultan's house because he was rich enough to afford it. I don't remember when electricity was discovered, but so the weather in NOLA can get pretty bad during hurricane season. So it could have potentially been like hurricane season, but that could have clouded some of the witnesses to see like anyone arriving, almost like they planned it. They kind of planned to come into whomever decided to show up, might not have been seen.
That was a long story right there. If they were Japanese wealthy people, we would have just said, they sent a bunch of ninja.
Yeah. Yep. Which would have been so much cooler.
We've actually been down there when it starts raining, and there's storms like in the middle of the day where you can't see 5 feet in front of you. The rain's coming down so hard.
Jeez.
It's crazy. I've actually got video of that too. We're standing under this overhang. Why is there a cool thumb over my head? Are you doing that?
Oh, remember when you did that? If you do the thumbs up, go ahead, do it.
Really? This is the dumbest thing ever. Why? No. This is so stupid. This is so stupid.
That's awesome.
No, it's not. I'll never do that again. What happens if I do this one? Nothing.
Nope.
I get no emoji for that. All right. So in any case, another ship arrived in the darkness, and several men came ashore and found their way to the house. They entered 716 Dauphine with swords drawn. Women and guards were cut down. As many as 48 people were chopped up, and their blood ran like a river into the street down those steps. And apparently, this guy who found the blood that next day by stepping in it said it was just like a waterfall from under the front door. The doors were closed. From under the front door, just down the steps, just covered, and just running. So it ran like a river into the street. When police arrived, they found corpses in every room. Some were flayed open, some were chopped to pieces. And in the courtyard, they found, sticking out of the ground, a hand with its fingers splayed as though grasping for something to pull it free. Kind of like that, I'm sure. The Turk had been buried alive. It's said that the words, "This is what happens to traitors," were found at the scene.
Jesus.
Spooky.
Ooh. So nobody knows who they are. What happened? There are some stories that say pirates discovered the palace, killed everyone, and snagged all the riches. So maybe, someone saw this guy, obviously he had stolen money, so he had these big ships. Obviously the ships were probably lit up, and there were, it was a nice looking ship. So pirates could have seen that, traced them back, kind of biding their time, and then decided to pillage it. However, the quote that was found seems a little bit too personal. Somebody knew something, and it probably wouldn't be. Nobody random would put a quote up like that. That's a very hey, you know what you did, and that's why we're here. Could he have been followed by pirates? Sure, it's possible, but with no witnesses, it's we don't know.
I don't think the note necessarily rules out pirates or anything else happening. I mean, they could have also. I mean, pirates could have known the story and known that he was a fraud, and
right,
and that's why they felt they could get away with it.
Or the Sultan could have sent out pirates.
Yep.
We said assassins, but it may not have been necessarily him. It could have been, because pirates were mercenaries. They worked for money. So it could have been anybody that he knew, like, hey, go follow this ship, wait a little bit, and then,
take him
go
out.
in and, take him out.
Yep. So it is said that the ghosts of the victims still roam the house to this day. They can be heard running through the halls, perhaps trying to evade their killers.
That makes sense.
Oh.
Could you imagine just
Haunted everything.
perpetually running for your life, just
Right.
forever? Like, even after you die, you're still running from somebody that had already killed you. It's crazy.
That sounds great.
Right?
So LePretre owned the house until 1878. Then in the 1930s, it became the Saba Apartments. And in the 1940s, it was the New Orleans Academy of Art. The academy closed not too long after it opened, as most of its student body was drafted into World War II to serve overseas. It later fell into disrepair through neglect and became overrun by squatters. After that, it was a halfway house for a few years. And then it was renovated in the 1960s, I think like 1966, into the apartments that it remains today.
Interesting. Gee, that's super new. So the timeline of events that transpired through all of this, it's heavily debated up until 1835. Apparently, the Times Picayune states that the events happened in the mid-19th century, which kind of goes against the timing of the house. So it could be wrong. Which begs the question, is it even true? One thing I read that the article is that the article describing the original house didn't even exist. There's no mention of it anywhere. There's no record of it. I tried looking. There are things that happened around that time. Like I have newspaper clippings of that time period, but nothing from the Times-Picayune saying anything about this. On top of that, multiple sources that I looked at say that this may not have been even true. So multiple sources. It's not like one source was like, this may not be true. Multiple sources were like, this probably didn't happen. Technically, there are no historical records that actually exist of the murder of all those people in the Sultan. It's just by word of mouth, I guess. Could it have been a ploy by the Sultan's brother to avoid his own death? Possibly, if it's true. But like I said, there's no record of the brother going there. There's no record of the Sultan there. There's also no record of the brother being buried alive. So this could just all be a legend. Like I said, could it have been a plan that the brother devised? Did he know his brother was going to come looking for him? Did he have his own guards? And was like, hey, he eliminated the assassins and was left one alive, saying like, you go back and tell my brother this is what happened. So he thinks we're dead. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So yeah, I had done a little research on that end too, and they looked into whether there was a sultan with a brother during this time period.
Mm-hmm. I saw this too.
Yeah,
yeah.
And there was a sultan, but he didn't have a brother. Then they kind of linked it back, and they did find, and I guess at some point somebody had named the brother of the sultan, and there was a sultan prior to this house being built that had a brother of that name. So now it's possible that this didn't happen in this particular house, but it maybe happened in the house that was there before it, or maybe happened in a house that was close by and they've got the wrong house, or it's also possible too that the sultan covered it up.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was saying.
We had enough money to say, hey, wink, wink, this never happened.
Right. Or he doesn't have a brother. His brother was a betrayer. And especially in cultures like that, it's honor is way more important. Than anything else. So having a brother who is a betrayer, especially being a sultan, he could have been like, wipe him from the books. He is no longer my brother. He could have disowned him. But because like you said, records show that the sultan at the time didn't have a brother. But if you kind of look, like you said, weave through some things, there was something that may have linked somebody, and again, people with power back then controlled the narrative. So there might not be any sort of right.
Maybe less
exactly.
so, because we've kind of got ears and eyes everywhere. But
especially with social media, the internet and stuff, it's kind of hard to keep things secret like that.
Yep.
So yeah, like I said, it could 100% be true. Something happened somewhere. Otherwise, why would there be a story like this?
Right.
This whole thing is crazy. True or not, the Sultan's Palace is said to be haunted, which is one of the main reasons we're talking about it. I know New Orleans, whatever.
Yep.
However you say it.
New Orleans.
It's a hot spot for ghostly activity. It's it's super old. It's so old. So much happened down there.
Yeah, this house is a big stop on all the ghost tours too.
Right. There's a whole voodoo presence down there, which links to like rituals and sacrifices. What the hell's her name? Madam. Oh shit! What the hell's her name? The voodoo queen.
Yeah.
That's down
Jesus
there.
Christ, I just had it. You put me on the spot now because I don't have it. Marie.
Voodoo.
Yeah, she's got there's a shop like right around the corner.
Madame Laveau.
Canal.
Mary Laveau. Madame Laveau. Mary Laveau. Yep. Yeah, there's a whole creepy presence down there. Obviously, there are going to be skeptics out there, but there have been many witnesses to strange events that occurred inside the Gardette-LePretre House. Most of the occupants of the Sultan's party that fateful night had been brutally murdered, as we said. Though it is said, as we noted, that the Sultan's brother sent the assassins, there is no real evidence pointing toward who sliced and diced, again, like we said before. Authorities probably assumed because he was a rich foreigner that it was above their pay grade. And that's another thing. If it did happen, cops knew that this guy, he threw lavish parties, and the public wasn't invited. The cops, police, whatever they had at the time, were probably like, this isn't our problem. Don't worry about it. Let it get swept
keep
under
this
the
between
rug.
the Turks.
Exactly. Residents of the Saba apartment and visitors alike have said that they hear muffled screams and footsteps. People say small things like keys or wallets would disappear and then reappear somewhere else. The sound of falling limbs can be heard throughout the building, assuming those are the lobbed off limbs of the dead patrons.
And keep in mind, sorry to interrupt, but keep in mind the Saba apartments, that was the 1930s. That's not a horribly long time after this is supposed to have happened.
Right. Others say there is an intense smell of incense that ruminates through the building and extends to the streets. So you could be there. There are reports of like just walking by the house. You're like, oh, there's this weird, like Middle Eastern incense kind of smell. The Sultan himself is said to be seen dressed in his robes and turban and appearing at the ends of beds. Any ghost that appears at the end of a bed fucking creeps me out. I am so scared that I'm gonna wake up one fucking day and just see like a person looking at me at the end of the bed. It hasn't happened, thank fucking Christ. But oh god, I would have to burn the house down and move. That's so scary.
That's another aspect of the story. Is some people have heard that it was the actual Sultan himself who was in the house. So which is why it's called the Sultan's house. There's actually several versions of the story.
Right. They call this apparition the Suleiman. Veiled faces of women of the hair. Whoa, I can't read my writing. Veiled faces of the women harem can be seen looking sadly out of the windows to the streets. So there's definitely weird shit going on there. People are seeing shit. People are hearing stuff. Yep. Again, why are they doing all this? If this didn't happen, who knows? It could be the power of suggestion. You know, there's legends of it being haunted, so people go in with, you know, the idea that something's going to happen, and then in their brain they'll hear stuff. You know, putting my skeptic's cap on, even though I highly believe in ghosts and apparitions and spirits and stuff. There is a power of suggestion. You know, you don't want to put anything into someone's brain, and then even as a believer or a skeptic, you're going to go in and you're going to hear things that your brain wants you to hear.
Yep.
You know,
true story. Yeah. So, I think that's it. That is the story.
Gardette-LePretre House. Pretty cool. It's cool that you can still go see it.
Wild story.
Oh, there it is.
I'm not even giving a thumbs up, and it's doing it.
That's just the computer saying, "Good job. We did a good job."
Yeah. I actually have a pretty cool New Orleans story. That's a little bit weird.
Of course.
We were doing a ghost tour, and this was last year when your mom and I were down there during the summer. So we were doing a ghost tour that culminated at a nunnery, and there was a vampire tale attached to it.
Ooh.
And they're talking about how one of the first vampire tales from the U.S. or something like that. I can't really remember because this happened in the middle of it, which is freaking weird. So she's telling us a story about a vampire, and all of a sudden, Mom's phone rings, and it's your sister, who I can't name drop because then we'll owe her money, Linnea.
Juice.
I'll just charge her rent.
I think I know. I think I remember. This
you definitely know.
Yeah.
So as we're hearing this story about a vampire, she is telling us that there is a bat in the house flying around.
Yep.
So
I do remember it.
Yeah, friggin' bizarre. So I have her call Jim, your father-in-law from down the street, who comes down here. And first I have her run. I'm like, put the dogs in the bedroom, close all the doors in the house, open the outside doors, and maybe he'll go out.
Right.
So then they go. She calls Jim. By the time Jim gets here, they can't find this bat anywhere. They're like, it's probably gone, probably flew out. That's how they say to get rid of a bat anyway. Try to,
just
leave
it alone,
the door open,
and
it'll find its way back outside.
Right.
So we're all good. We come home. This was on a Sunday night, I believe, and we were coming home on Monday. So this is our last night there. So we come home. But what's up with the thumb?
Stop.
I got to
Put your
get
hands
rid
down.
of that. I got to get rid of that. But anyway,
That's why Macs are stupid.
So we they're not. So we come home on a Monday night. All's good. She did a great job. Took care of the dogs. Everything's wonderful. Thursday morning, I go in to get ready for work. Thursday morning. So this is 4 days later.
Okay.
The friggin' bat is attached to the side of my bathroom sink. He's still in the friggin' house.
That's
4 days later. We sleep. That bathroom is right off of our bedroom. We sleep with that door open because Nola likes to go in there and lay on the cold floor sometimes.
Right.
And this friggin' bat was just sitting there. I have pictures of the thing. I try to catch him, and he goes to the other side and scooches in between the sink and puts himself way in the back. I can't get him out, so I'm like, shit. Ugh. So I close the door. I shove it. Well, I open the window in the bathroom. I close the bathroom door. I shove a towel under it so he can't climb out. And I go home, and I think, shit, I'm gone all day to work. I come home, and I'm like, shit. There's no way he didn't get outside. There's no way.
Right.
I open the bathroom door. He's standing on the bathroom floor, on his wing knuckles, over by the toilet, just looking at me. And I'm like, this is not going to end well.
He's like, I live here now, too, bitch.
Yeah, fuck you. So I end up catching him in a blanket.
Okay.
And I'm making it sound like, So I got him, and I got this blanket, and I grabbed him. I
talked to him, and I was like, "Yo, bud, just like get in here. I'll take you outside.
You get out of my house." Grabbing the blanket like a bitch. I'm like, I'm like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura with the bat.
Yeah,
I've got this bat, and I take it, and I shake it out the bathroom window, and he goes thunk. But now I got. I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't shake it out there. I just dropped the whole blanket outside, and then I ran around the house. I just didn't run around the house. I ran through the house to go outside so I could go where the towel is, and I lifted up the whole towel, and I brought him over to the other side of the fence, and I shook him out onto the lawn. And he just kind of like stomped away all pissed. You know, bats can't walk, so they drag themselves by their wings. It's pretty cool to watch.
Oh, that's crazy.
But yeah, look, I think I sent you footage of that too.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to. Now that we have the Facebook, we'll throw some of the pictures up there.
Yeah.
Oh
Cool.
God, that's so funny.
Yeah, that's my weird story. So yeah, that they were.
Bats don't really creep me out, but still, I wouldn't want to live with one for
no,
four
and
days.
not know it, and and how
Right?
about when you're sitting there listening to a vampire story,
Right.
and then your daughter's like, "Hey, just so you know, there's a bat in here." Still better than a snake sizing you up.
Agreed. And this is coming from a guy with a Batman tattoo.
Right?
Oh my God, are you the Batman?
Yes. Yes, I am. You know that. You've known that for years.
No, I didn't. No, I don't.
Oh, sorry. I mean, no, I'm not.
Plausible deniability. It's Freddy the Yeti.
Why is Freddy blurry? Oh, because he's a Yeti. They really are blurry. Blurry is their natural existence. This is why you're seeing him right next to me. And the same with Bigfoot. Like, yeah.
They're always
they're just blurry. They're just blurry. That is so weird.
All right, are we sticking with Freddy the Yeti?
I think we have to.
I think we should. Freddy. Oh God.
This thing's
great.
cool. All right, Freddie. Say bye.
All right, say bye, Freddie. Yeah, that's gonna do it for Two Good Christians this week.
Two Christians and Freddie.
And Freddie.
We're not changing the name. He's not getting merch, not yet.
Right.
He's
Speaking
gotta
of
earn
merch, we will try to work on something. A store of some sort. We'll think of something. We do have means to get the mugs. We also have magnets. If you guys would like one, let us know. We'll figure out a price. And people who watch this personally know us. So we'll
hit us up.
Yeah. We'll figure something out if you guys want some stuff. So yeah, that's gonna do it. In the words of another shout out, Niels, goodbye everybody. That's what he does every time we leave.
Is that your new
Bye
exit?
everybody. All right,
great.
fuckers.
All right. Piss out.
Good night.
Peace.